Hello there. It is an overcast Friday afternoon here in Seoul. We are just outside exit 8 of Janghanpyeong Station on line 5. I've brought you out here today because right off in that direction is the Jungnangcheon, the Jungnang stream. And there is an excellent spot for seeing cherry blossoms over there. I had heard about it before, but I haven't actually walked along the path yet. But apparently it's not as crowded as some of the other more well-known spots in Seoul, like Yeouido and Sokcheon Lake over by Lotte World. Now, I have seen this from a distance. I came out here yesterday and walked along the Jungnang stream, but I was on the west bank. What we want to see is on the east bank. And we could cross the bridge here and go see it, but we're not going to do that. Instead, me being me, we're going to take a bit of a detour to talk about some history and an interesting little park that I recently stumbled upon. And I want to start with this name, Janghanpyeong. But right around the corner from Janghanpyeong Station, just off in that direction right there, outside exit 5, I think, is a large used car market. It's been there 1979 it opened, and they have a banner proclaiming their 47 years of history. And on that banner is Janganpyeong. And that is what makes the name of this subway station so interesting. On this side of the street, we are in a neighborhood called Yeongdap-dong, but on that side of the street is Jangan-dong. Jangan-dong. Janganpyeong on that banner. Janghanpyeong on the subway station. If you find that confusing, you're not alone. Even the locals get confused by it. Janganpyeong is the name of the used car market, but since the subway station opened, people get the two names mixed up. First, let's look at the meanings of the two names. Jang is a Sino-Korean word that in this case means long or vast. Pyeong is a Sino-Korean word meaning field or plain. In Janganpyeong, the Han could refer to the Han River, but most likely it refers to the Jungnang stream because that stream during the Joseon dynasty was called the Hanne. Ne is a native Korean word meaning stream, identical in meaning to the Sino-Korean version Chun. So the Hanne or Han-chun, the Han stream. And with that, we get long field next to the Han stream. That kind of makes sense because before it was developed, that part of what is today Eastern Seoul, that whole area, this huge area there, was this vast plain. It makes sense that a part of it on one of the banks might be called the long field next to the Han stream. In Janganpyeong, an is a Sino-Korean word that means peace. So here we get long, peaceful field, or if you want to get poetic about it, eternally peaceful field, or maybe field of eternal peace. Now, as to how Jangan became associated with the area in the form of Jangang-dong, the neighborhood, and Janganpyeong, the used car market, that goes back to 1914. That's when the Japanese colonial government undertook a major administrative overhaul, completely replacing the Joseon-era administrative system. They redrew boundaries, renamed zones. It seems that their goals, or at least two of their goals, were standardization and simplification. So they settled on Jangan for this area. And then we get to 1991. That's when the Seoul Naming Committee began deliberating what to name all of the new subway stations that were going to open on line 5, which was under construction at the time. The official summary of their rationale for selecting Janghanpyeong for the subway station name instead of Jangan or Janganpyeong is listed in a dataset called Origins of Station Names. And it says, during the Shilla dynasty, which ended over 450 years before the Joseon dynasty was founded, there was a fortress in the area, and it was called Janghansong. That fortress gave its name to the surrounding plain, Janghanpyeong. So, according to the committee, that name is well-rooted in this area. And they claimed that Janganpyeong is just a mispronunciation of Janghanpyeong. That's the official rationale that was published after the name was finalized. Now, the question is, was Janganpyeong actually a mispronunciation of Janghanpyeong? It is possible, but there are alternative explanations for how that name came to be. And a very interesting one is that it's a shortened form of the word Janganpyeong. This means the field within the horse ranch. So during the Joseon dynasty, much of that vast plain around the Jungnangcheon, or the Hancheon at the time, was used as a royal horse ranch. In Korean, you would call it Majang. Ma is Sino-Korean for horse. Jang is, again, Sino-Korean, but a different Hanja, different Sino-Korean character from the one that means long and vast. This one means place or grounds. So Majang could be translated as horse grounds or horse ranch. And today, just 2 stops west of Janghanpyeong Station, you'll find Majang Station in Majangdong. And so that history of the Royal Horse Ranch lives on. On in this name is not the Sino-Korean word for peace. It is a completely native Korean word that means within, inside. Majang, horse ranch, an, within, Pyong, field, the field within a horse ranch. And the idea is that over time, this name became shortened to Janganpyeong. And so that's how field within the horse ranch becomes long, peaceful field. Now, what's the truth? What's the full story? I don't know, but I'll see about diving more deeply into this in a future video. I find it utterly fascinating. For now, though, we want to go see cherry blossoms, right?
So I mentioned that used car market earlier. It's just basically right over there on the other side of those trees. This street here goes right by it. Right up here is a sewage treatment, water recycling facility. And that has been here since 1976. It's located right at the confluence, the meeting of the Cheonggye Stream and the Jungnang Stream. The Cheonggye Stream meets the Jungnang Stream right up here, and then the Jungnang flows into the Han River. So the Cheonggye is just off in that direction, and the Jungnang is straight ahead of us. In 2015, the Seoul government developed this policy goal, this vision of moving from a society of disposal to a circular society where you're taking your waste and not just recycling it, but upcycling it, using it to produce other products. And as part of that, they came up with this concept of the Seoul Upcycling Plaza. And they located it right here. This is the entrance to the Seoul Upcycling Plaza. And you see we've got these things here, probably for children.
Seoul Upcycling Plaza opened in late 2017. The city of Seoul describes it as the world's largest upcycling cultural complex. It brings together the full upcycling process from material collection and processing to production and sales, all in a single space. It provides spaces and showrooms for upcycling companies, research institutes, designers, and more, I guess. Next door to it is the Seoul Sewerage Science Museum. This takes you through the history of sewage handling in Korea, and that is located at one end of a small park called the Water Cycling Theme Park. The Upcycling Plaza provides some educational programs that are linked with the museum and that give a single comprehensive view of Seoul's resource circulation system, both solid and liquid. The land on which all of this is located is part of the Jungnam Water Recycling Center. And that name, by the way, takes multiple forms in English, but we'll just go with that one. Now, previously, some of the water treatment functions were located in this space, but that was moved underground to make room for the construction of all the new stuff above ground. And by doing that, the city converted what once was a nuisance facility into a space for use by the general public, and not just for educational purposes. The first time I came through here, I saw an elderly gentleman walking a dog in the park.
What is this? A putting course or a chip and putt course? Looks like a chip and putt course. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You know, I don't know what I expected when I walked into that museum, but it looks pretty interesting. I'm gonna have to go back and spend some more time and really take in all the information in there. I don't have time today. So we are now going to head to the Jungnam stream and get to our cherry blossoms. And to get there, we're gonna go through what looks like an area you shouldn't walk through, but it's totally fine. We're gonna see one more little component of this area. I don't know if it's connected to the broader facilities here or not, but there is a waste collection point over here. Now this road will get us to where we want to go, but we're going to take a shortcut through here. Morning. You know, I love how all the heavy equipment, the forklifts, the front loaders, all that, they have this alarm when they're backing up. It's not just a beep, beep, beep. It's a very urgent voice telling you to get out of the way. Okay, I think this path leads to the Cheonggye stream, I think. But we're going this way because I want you to see what's over here. Oh, and you can see all the cherry blossoms going down this way, but there's no path next to them. You got to walk down below them. The path we're going to be walking on is right over there. Look at those trees. Wow. They look pretty full and luscious from over here. And that expressway there, that is the Dongbu Expressway. One of the major expressways in the city. Leads north. And here we are, we have come to the end of the road. I'll remind you that I am on Instagram now, Mike Walks Korea. Every form of Mike from Korea that I tried was taken. So that's what I ended up with, Mike Walks Korea, and it fits. I post pictures and videos that I snap along my daily walks. And that's also a great way to know when I'm shooting a video, because on the days I shoot videos, I post some pics from the shoot and note that I shot a video that day. So when you see that, you'll know a video is coming soon. If you're visiting Seoul and you got the time, consider putting the Seoul Sewerage Science Museum on your list. I'm definitely going to go back there and spend more time. It's much more interesting than I expected it to be. And though it's too late for this cherry blossom season, if you're here for a future cherry blossom season, a really nice route for you is going to be coming out of Oksu Station, going down to the Han River Park, turning to the east, which is left, and following the path on around onto the Jungnang stream, and keep going up to the Salgoji Bridge, the old Joseon Bridge that we crossed today, and then follow the same path that we did today. That is very nice. I am sure you'll enjoy it. And that's all. Thanks for coming along with me. I hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.